Welcome everyone to another episode of the Real Estate Deli. I'm your host Mando, manifesting Mando on IG, where we cut through all the noise and deliver actionable insight to you and make the information the star. And today we have a good friend of mine. We're in the same community, Alex Barnett. What's up, Alex? How you doing?
I'm doing great, Mando. Thanks for having me, brother. This is really cool.
I appreciate you so much. Like I said, we were talking on the back end, and I was just heaping his praise. I was telling him how dope of a guy I just think he is. You know, he has a certain style which I love the way you move around and the way you post and the way just knowing you, I just said, wow, this is a guy that you can learn from. But yeah, Alex, where you from, Alex? Tell us a little back end story. How
Yep,
you got into the game.
sure.
All that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm from Orange County, California, born and raised. My whole life, I've been a musician and doing music production. I was in full-time touring band up until about 2020. And then once 2020 hit and live music was no longer a thing, that was a complete slap in the face of like, okay, I need to come up with something that's actually gonna, be consistent form of income as well as provide, some sort of wealth for my future as I was getting older. So kind of like everybody, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was a light bulb moment. Jumped into bigger pockets, went down that hole, and then I found a local mentor here in Orange County who's been flipping for about 40 years now in Orange County. And so under him, I've been learning how to flip properties. From there, we started getting into the mobile home space, kind of fell into that. And then I absolutely love sort of the affordable housing investing space, and that's what kind of led me to the group that we're in, which is all about like co-living and everything like that. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Yeah, shout out to Michael Manatsakanian, the super
Yep.
investors as well. He's super dope. You guys, this is an incredible group of real estate investors, specifically buy and hold. Again, I'm excited, but there was something about you I knew it was special. You're a musician, you were in the
Yeah.
arts, so
Yeah.
that's why I was trying to get a feel of you because I just thought you were so smooth in the way you operate, and I
Thanks,
think
man.
now I get it. Right, you're on
Yeah.
the artsy side. I DJ'd for years, so
Okay. Hell yeah.
yeah, and I went to culinary school. I worked in restaurants,
Okay.
all
Yeah.
that.
No, I totally pick up on that, dude. Like I did like I out of college, I did like a mobile DJ sort of thing. That was so much fun. And then I went to school for music business. And so I ended up opening up a recording studio here in Orange County. That's when I met my wife. And then from there, we started like touring full time.
That's sweet, sweet. Again,
Yeah,
I just knew there was something about you that was kind of, like off the beaten path. Thank you for
sure.
sharing that. And
Yeah,
you said you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, like all of us have.
I know.
What was something in that book that just turned on the light, or that was that spark that you were like, wow, what is this?
Yeah. So, I mean, when you like look at it and break it down, it's like so simple. Or he's like, you need to have an income coming in basically for the rest of your life. And, I've seen it even with my own family where like, my parents didn't really like, they saved a little bit for retirement, but they just stopped working and then now are trying to live off of like social security. And it's like, you can't make that happen nowadays. It's like, you need that constant residual income coming in. And what better way than, through real estate. And so, yeah, it just the whole story of it really spoke to me because the poor dad is similar to kind of like how my dad's outlook was, where he was like, hey, if anybody has a crap ton of money, they kind of got it in sort of an evil way. Then when I met, I call my mentor, he's like my rich dad, where he's just like salt of the earth. You wouldn't even know it, but he's, got a ton of cash and been flipping here in Orange County for over 40 years. And it's just more of a mentality thing of like making money isn't bad. You can actually do a lot of great work with it as well, helping other people.
Yeah, that's dope. I like the story with the Velcro wallet.
Sure, for sure,
Yeah,
dude.
if you haven't read the book, read
Yeah.
the book and you'll find out what the Velcro wallet is.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many moments in there. You're just like,
Yeah, for
wow.
sure. Right. So you said you had a mentor who was doing flips. I believe you're a flipper. You flip
Yep.
mobile homes, right? Let's
Yeah.
get into some of that stuff. Like, what have you accomplished? What are you proud to say? Hey, man, I've done this. I feel good about this. Let us.
Sure. Yeah. So I pretty much, when I first started, he's like, you got to learn wholesaling, do the wholesaling. I sold him my first deal. I made like 15 grand on that. And at the time, being a musician, it was like, it's the most amazing fun that you can have, but everybody knows it's not like the most lucrative business unless you're like the top 1%. So when I made that 15 grand in like 1 month, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Fast forward, I find a mobile home on owned land. So there's the two difference. There's like the on the leased land, which everybody kind of knows about mobile home parks, but out here in a lot of areas, you can get a mobile home on owned land. So I do all the comps and everything. I find out there's actually a really big spread here. So I bring it to him like, hey, partner with me on this. Show me how to flip. That's because that's kind of why I'm here. He's like, well, I don't really do mobile homes. I'm like, it's on owned land. So he's like, all right, let's give it a shot. So we end up flipping that. It's like when the market is kind of going crazy in like 2021, maybe the beginning of 2022.
Yeah.
We end up making like 100 grand on it on a mobile home. And he's like, oh, actually, I do love mobile homes. I was like, yeah, okay. so so just from that one thing, I was like, okay, you can actually make a ton of cash. And they're in areas that may not be as nice as let's say Orange County. I'm kind of like in Inland Empire, but you can make the mobile home super nice. And so when you see the next family come in and everything's like fully rehabbed and they're super stoked to get in here, it's just a great feeling on top of making that cash.
Yeah, that's
So
dope. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, the first one, make 100 grand. And then from there, just kind of been doubling down on the mobile homes as just because there's a lot less competition. And then, like I said, just being in the affordable space is like just really rewarding as
Yeah,
well.
I met someone recently who started flipping in mobile homes. So it's very rare, it's kind of a outside the beaten path of what traditionally you would think
Mm-hmm.
investors would do.
Right.
But that's super dope. I had an experience. I went to visit my father-in-law down in Virginia years back, and we went into his house, and we stood there for a couple days. I didn't know it was a mobile home.
Mm,
It was a double wide,
right.
and I had no idea what it was. It looked it just looked like a house. I had
Right.
no clue until my wife tells me, and I look outside and I see they had a border around the bottom of it, some
Yeah.
tennis board, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it." But
Yeah.
you can never tell. You can
Yeah,
never.
yeah, yeah,
To
yeah.
me, anyway.
Especially right, yeah. And now like they're coming out with it's almost like the prefabbed houses when people are putting ADUs in. They're it's almost the same thing. It's like they manufacture it in a factory, but they can make it super tricked out and really nice looking. So I'm kind of excited to see where they go with all that stuff.
Yeah, I could imagine, dude, because like I said, the one visited was my father-in-law's, and he probably had it for years and years and years.
Mhm.
So I could imagine where technology is now.
Yeah.
You know, it could be amazing. I'm sure it is, right? The
Yeah.
amenities that provides. That's
Yeah,
super dope.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
how is it that you like do repairs and stuff like that? I'm trying to envision like you have to get
Mhm.
permitting as well and stuff like that. How does that work?
We honestly don't pull any permits unless we have to. But yeah, it's like with flipping, it's like you want to get in, you want to get out as quick as possible. So we have our crews, and we'll do regular houses as well. We just love mobile homes because they're one, easy, and then two, they're very cookie cutter with everything that you do.
Okay.
Whereas with a house, maybe there's like some foundation or, some like the roof, maybe you got to take the whole roof off or something. But yeah, so we have like two main crews that we use, and they're able to get in and out relatively quickly with doing like really high quality work. So the only time we've had to pull permits was when we were working on a mobile home inside of a park, and there was like an inspector apparently that would go around and just check out all these mobiles in this certain park. He saw my guys up on the roof and he's like, "Hey, what's good? What are you guys doing?" Basically pulled them down or like stop the work. You need to get a permit for this. So it's just like they just want their money for you to go in and get the permit. So that's all it was. So I had to go down to the permitting office and, you know, pay like $400 for the permit. And then the guy's got to come back out and sign off on the work. But other than that, we're not really doing anything as far as moving any load bearing walls or anything where you're going to need an engineer. It's just take everything out, put everything in brand new.
That's dope. So you did that, and Alex, and now I know that you're sort of transitioning into a newer space of investing or implementing a new strategy. I
Yep.
actually noticed a deal in one of the groups today that you posted. It was, I believe, a deal in Dallas. So
Mm-hmm.
can you tell us what you trying to grow into, and what are your new strategies in investing?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, anybody that gets into real estate will know there's like the active income side, which is the wholesaling, the flipping, and you can get, let's say, if you want to call it for lack of a better term, you can get rich off that, but you're not going to get wealthy. The real wealth is from buying a property, not selling it, letting that appreciate, and then getting all the benefits with that. So this year, after I have built up the last few years with the flipping, I'm like, okay, we need to start putting our money into buying and holding the real estate. Um, so that's when I joined Michael's group. That's when we met, and then he's been sort of pushing the, not even pushing it, and it's something that I've been wanting to get into, was this co-living, the rent by the room. Pad Split is a platform that's almost like the Airbnb of rent by the room, and they're kind of starting to take off now, and for good reason. Rents are becoming increasingly unaffordable. Buying property seems like a dream for most people that will never be obtained. So if us investors are now incentivized to, you know, find a property like the one in Dallas, it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, almost 3,000 square feet with a pool, and you can fit 4 other bedrooms in there. Now you have a place where 8 people can live for a reasonable price. So that's kind of the direction I'm going.
No, that's super dope, and it's just so true, Alex. These homes, just as an investor, a single family home, they're just not penciling in, right? Just the market conditions, where people are financially, it just doesn't make sense to put in a buy a house and put in a long term tenant there. Those days are, for now. Who knows for how long, or maybe forever? They're kind of gone, right? So there, and Airbnb, that's more of a, it's like a want, it's not a need, right?
Right.
So it's something that if you're not in the right market now, doesn't make sense as well, right? So that's why I also believe that rent by room model is just the way it is where the metrics is going. It's where everything it's going. People are not, their salaries are not matching up to inflation and the cost of living,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
People are more, this generation is more transient. People
Mm-hmm.
getting married less, all these little
Mm-hmm.
factors that kind of give you an idea to look forward and say, hey, let's skate to where the puck is going.
Yeah.
So it's kind of makes sense that's the model. And tell us about this opportunity in Dallas. How did you source it?
Yeah.
And what do you think of doing it? How you think you can push it along and get it to close?
Yeah. So I've just been kind of reaching out, making posts saying, like, you know, send me anything that works as a co-living. And I met up with a couple guys out of, I think they're actually in Miami, but they have, I'd say, maybe 8 to 12 co-living properties in Dallas and Houston, and Fort Worth area. And so they have their own like management company and everything like that. So I just kind of got to talking with them. I was like, hey, I'm really looking to buy something in the next, 30 to 60 days. So send me anything that you think might pencil out. And yeah, they sent me this one, and it's kind of in a cool neighborhood. And then it has it's relatively big. And then we had someone come into the group, Jared, where he had mentioned something about this having a third bathroom. So he wants now at least like a half bath. So 2.5 baths. This one had 3 bathrooms. So I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense to have 8 bedrooms in there. Everything kind of just penciled out. They did most of the underwriting, and I ended up just taking all their numbers and then cross-referencing it with the calculator that we have. And yeah, it penciled out somewhere around like 23% cash on cash return. around 100K, 120K to get it up and running. And yeah, it just seems doable. So I'm kind of looking at that right now.
So I'm assuming you're looking for a private money partner, one,
Mhm.
two, that's kind of the direction.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, like since I'm just getting started, I'm gonna throw in and then hopefully have a couple other people throw in. That way, I can have some credibility as an operator, and the more that we get under our belt, then the more people will be like, "Hey, actually, I do want to invest with you." And the same thing sort of happened with our flipping business as well. We were putting in our own cash as well as like my mentors. Then after a few years, and I keep posting, now I'm taking uh, private money partners on the flips. So because I have that credibility and the track record, so it's just kind of part of the path that I think I want to take, where I have some skin in the game, bring some other partners in. It's just like starting a band in my in my mind, which I'm totally used to. So I love having multiple partners, and
I,
we're
I
all kind
love
of
that.
going
I
for the
love how
same
you
vision.
reason. I love how you
Yeah.
reason that in your head, because sometimes we get on our own way, right? And
Hmm.
so I do this a lot, and I try to reason things conceptually how it works for me. Like example, just like a band, right? And I
Hmm.
think it eases the anxiety. And okay, I know how to do this, right? So
Right.
right, so I love that that you do it. And shout out to REI Jared. He came into our
Yeah.
community. He gave tons of value. So again, if follow REI Jared on YouTube.
Yeah.
He has super dope intel and how to run a property, and he does it on
Yeah.
himself. He's a self manager. He doesn't even use pad split,
I
so
know.
he has tons of knowledge. And shout out to him. So uh,
Yeah.
I know you're a flipper as well. Is that going to continue to be an active portion of your business, or are you going to ease away from
Mhm.
that as you grow into your other strategies?
No, I think we're gonna keep doing it. I mean, we have a great market out here in SoCal. I love doing it. My wife and I have another partner. We all kind of work together on this, and it's just a really fun process to go into these properties where you're like, how is somebody living like this? It's just like the craziest properties on sometimes a really nice street, and then all you got to do is just clear everything out. You get a blank canvas and then put everything super nice, and that's just like so satisfying. It's like I hadn't had any sort of creative outlet like music, since we kind of stopped touring full time, and this gives me that same sort of outlet, and I get the same sort of feeling from that, which is kind of crazy.
That's sweet. And on a mobile home, a regular rehab, like how long does it take you? Obviously, everything's there's a
Mhm.
variable to everything, but usually, how long does that take?
Yeah, no more than 6 weeks, I would say, and that's with like putting roof, AC, every single thing in there. But we're like less than 4 weeks right now, like
That's
just
a
if
sweet,
it's just cosmetic. So the
that's a sweet
turnaround,
turnaround.
yeah, is like just super crazy.
Oh, like you're literally in and out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's the one thing I love about it, because it's sometimes it's just paint and flooring, and it's like you're freaking in and out and on the market right away.
Alex, now let's go into this portion where I call, we're going out to the depths of hell, right?
Okay.
Where have your struggles been? What
Hmm.
lessons have you learned? What can you
Yep.
impart to others to learn from your mistakes? Like,
Sure.
because we all go through it. Everything's not hunky dory, right?
I
Situation,
feel you.
foreseeable things happen, and you be like, and how do you pivot? And how do you don't take those as losses, but as lessons?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just like what you said, don't take them as losses, as lessons, and that's you're gonna be fine. You're gonna get through it. So one particular property, and maybe it was sort of from a mentality of when I did that first flip and we made $100,000 on it. In my mind, I was like, why is everyone saying that flipping is so hard? This is easy. I'm a genius, like just totally cocky about how the situation works. Well, from that time, the market starts trending downwards. So we're making a little bit less on each of these flips, a little bit less. Then all of a sudden, I get an opportunity for a regular house out in Joshua Tree. And this is when like Airbnb out in Joshua Tree, it was like this haven for all these people from LA to go out into the desert and like whatever they're doing mushrooms and looking up at the sky or whatever they want to do. So there was a ton of people heading out to Joshua Tree. So we get a flip in Joshua Tree and we're like, oh my God, we're gonna make so much money. We were gonna make, I think, 200 grand on it. Well, our regular crew didn't want to go that far, and that's fine. It's probably, maybe 3 hour drive for them. So I'm like, okay, let me just find another contractor out in the area. Well, this is where we start having all the cliche flipper problems with the contractor. So he's over promising, he's under delivering. We had to redo a bunch of his work and have to go into the walls and like rip out all these gas lines where he had replaced all the gas lines, but we were having gas leaks like everywhere in the house whenever we turned the gas on. And he's just giving me excuse after excuse, and the timeline just keeps going and going. All of a sudden we're into the new year. I think it was like 2023, and the market is just starting to go down. And especially in Joshua Tree, people were like, okay, the market sucks, we're out of here. And so after all was said and done, after this like super long timeline, I think we ended up like we probably think we lost maybe like 10 or 20 grand on that one. So yeah, and it was like after about to make 200 just going, just consecutively watching it go down, go down, go down, go down, and then all of a sudden we're like, just get rid of it. We just need to get rid of this thing.
Just get out of here, right?
Yeah, exactly. So for us, we're like, okay, we don't do anything in Joshua Tree. We're still scarred from it from this day to this day. But yeah, I would say the biggest lessons from that is just, vet your workers. And then when you need to, if he's not getting the job done, you got to take him off. There was a part of me that was like, it was really hard for me to say like, you're fired basically, but it came down to it. And I was like, dude, you're off of the job. And then we actually had to bring our original crew out to redo a lot of the work that he had done. So it was just a really big learning lesson.
Yeah, those lessons are hard to learn, especially those are financial lessons that they hit your pocket, right?
Mm-hmm.
They hit your confidence, so,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to pivot. So now I'm sure you learned market fluctuations, where the market is
Oh
at
yeah.
specific times, right? Knowing how to put in stop gaps, or just to be more
Yeah.
mindful of where you're at in the market.
Yeah.
Just being wet behind the ears. Hey, this is super easy. I got this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the lessons.
And it was a classic thing where everybody was all hyped on this area, and so we were like following the hype, and that you can get stuck real quick following the hype.
Yeah, sometimes again, rush into that crowd, just maybe a FOMO kicks in. Yeah, I want to be in there as well, whatever, right? Let's do this, right? It's the hot spot. And sometimes it's just not it, right? So
Yeah,
following the trend sometimes is not it. Sometimes you
right.
got to beat to your own drummer, let's say. Just a little musical reference to what you're doing.
Yeah.
What type of music did you play? What was your thing?
So I've done a bunch of stuff. I used to like make beats for like rappers and hip hop guys. I was in a hardcore band with my brother. My wife and I, when we first started our band, it was like indie folk. And then I started another band with my wife and then my buddy from high school, and it was like surf rock that ended up merging into reggae music, basically. So
You're one big mash.
that's right. Yeah. So we just kind of go. I mean, and it was like we were along the coast right here, and then we were playing like kind of like indie rock. It was like, wait, what are we doing? We need to be doing like surf rock, reggae music. I mean, we already all listened to it already, so we're like, let's start this like reggae band. So
That's crazy dope. I live
Mhm.
in Bushwick in New York, and
Okay.
there's tons of indie bands, tons and tons of indie bands out here.
Yeah.
Just new to the neighborhood. My neighborhood's transformed so much over the last 10 years. But
Awesome.
here in the summertime, all these little spots are always kicking for sure.
Yeah, dude.
Uh,
Yeah, New York is a music haven for
oh,
sure.
for sure is sweet. But yeah, thank you for imparting that wisdom. People need
Yeah,
to
of
hear these
course.
lessons to be able
I
to say,
know.
hey, let me learn through Alex's experience where I
Mhm.
don't bump my head. And again, these things that we all go through as investors, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
No one's excluded. These are things that you're gonna experience. You just want to put in safety levers that you can exit out of it and just move on, right? Just cut your losses and just make it part of your journey, literally, and just say,
Yeah.
hey, this is what I learned. Hey, don't do this, guy or gal. Be careful, watch yourself. But yeah, thanks for that, Alex.
Absolutely.
And let's get into this part of the show I called The Makings of a Hero. The makings of a hero is kind of vision casting, forecasting. Where do you want to be? Where's your business going to be in the next 3 to 5 years? What do you want to do in this space, and how you want to serve the communities that you're investing in as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, the one of the great things about joining Michael's group is he kind of lays out the path to financial freedom. So, I think when I was running my numbers, I was coming up with getting all my needs and wants covered for our household. We would have to bring in somewhere like, I don't know, maybe 11 or 12 grand a month. And then from there, you kind of want to double it. So we need to be making like 25 grand a month to really feel like we're financially free. So I'm trying to do that within the next 3 to 4 years. Pure cash flow, at least 25 grand a month. And then all through, I think, co-living. So I've once I start buying some of these properties and putting them online and becoming an operator, I'm hoping that I'm able to connect with it like I did with the mobile homes, and it becomes sort of just a niche that we can all grow in. But I don't necessarily have a number of units or anything like that. I think I'm more of kind of Jared style, where he's got fewer units but higher cash flow. And so I'm really just kind of going for a number that will provide for our household, my immediate household, as well as provide for like my mom and my dad, who haven't necessarily laid out a retirement plan. So it's pretty much retire the family is kind of the main goal. So, and I'm hoping to do that by at least 2030. So that's kind of the gist. And then we're going to keep flipping just because we love it, and just keep scaling that as well.
That's super dope that you're taking your parents under your wing as well. Again, it says a lot about who you are, the values, so kudos to you, and much success in your journey. Again, you're on your way. I know that is, I'm sure you do as well. Now it's just keep knocking on them doors, and someone will answer, right? And that's kind of our job, is just keep on pushing ahead, taking these L's and turn them into W's, right? That's what I call turning these L's and then turn them into a W.
There you go.
The journey that we're all on. So again, Alex, where can people reach you if they want to partner with you? They want to connect with you. How do people reach you?
Yeah. Through Instagram, just hit me up at This Is Alex Barnett, and I also have a YouTube channel. You can follow along the journey as well at This Is Alex Barnett. But I want to give a big shout out to you, Mando, because your mentality of everything really resonates with me about just having a really positive attitude, and then manifesting. Like, we have that power to manifest, and it's really infectious to be around people like that. So I'm glad we got to connect.
Oh man, I appreciate that. And that's actually my handle.
I know.
Mando.
I know. I love that, dude. When I see you pop up, I'm like, yeah, let's get it. Let's get it.
And it's very true. It's very true. Your spirit and who you are, it will take you a long place. Your relationships will take you a long place. This real estate business is a relationship business, right? It's kind of how you treat people, how you follow up with people, how you stay present in people's lives and people's minds. So if they have an opportunity and they're looking to find someone to present this opportunity, you're in top of people's heads. So I'm very mindful of that, to always be present as much as possible in people, especially through social media. I always try to comment, like, or heart, whatever it is, something small. Again, just to stay engaged with people. And it's kind of always been who I am, just a gatherer by nature. like
I feel it,
like
man.
a basketball player. My favorite basketball player ever was Magic Johnson. And
Okay.
Magic Johnson, it's been a while, but he played with a smile, and
Yeah.
he always engaged his teammates. His teammates came first. He had a
Right.
little flash to his game, which I think I do as well. But
Yeah.
again, it was always making his team better, and we all win together.
Absolutely. I 100% believe that.
Alex, thanks again for coming on to the Real Estate Deli. We appreciate you. We'll be following your journey. I'll post
Thank
your
you.
social media links in the description. And again, thanks you for coming. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Later, guys.
All right.